Hey, what's up YouTube? This is our 3-part series on the death of a loved one. This video will be based on part 3, everything that you do after your loved one has already died. So as I said, this is part 3, and we're going to have also a summary video coming soon about this. If there's any questions that you would like answered, you can leave them in the comment section below. I hope this video is helpful, and thank you for watching. Okay, so we are talking about the death of a loved one. This is video part 3, and this is after the loved one has already died. So thank you for doing this video with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the first thing we want to talk about is accounts. So tell us what you know about accounts.
Okay, regarding accounts, what you want to do if your loved one is in a nursing home, you want to make sure that you close that account. Basically what you need to do is you need to talk to the people in the nursing home. They will give you a letter which will state how much your loved one has in their account at the nursing home. Once they give you that letter, you take that letter to the courts. When you go to the courts, you will be getting a letter of administration. When you go to the courts to get the letter of administration, you need some documents with you. You need the will, the original will. You will also need the original death certificate. You will also need any other documents that are considered legal from the standpoint of what the courts want. But it varies from state to state, and that's something that you would have to check into whatever state you live in.
Okay, so the next thing I'd like to ask you is about if you have a joint account or if you are a joint account holder.
Okay, so if you're a joint account holder, in this case, if you are the legal owner of this account and you're on that account with someone, you do not need to provide any proof of documentation to the bank, and you can check the account. You can close the account if you want to.
Okay. Now, if you are the beneficiary.
So if you're the beneficiary, or and this is a custodial account, the names you as the pay on the death beneficiary, you must be request a certified copy of the death certificate from the state's Office of Vital Records and present the bank with identification. The bank should then release the money to you and allow you to close the account.
Okay. If you are the named power of attorney.
So if you're the named power of attorney on this account, during the deceased person's life, you were allowed to use the account to pay their bills. After the person passed away, you are no longer entitled to have access to the person's account, and you cannot close it unless you are also named as the joint holder, trustee, or named by a probate judge as executor of the will for the estate.
Okay. If you are a trustee.
If the deceased created a trust and named you as trustee to the account after his death or her death, you must provide the bank with the following in order to close the account. You need the original death certificate, you need identification, and trustee provision naming you as the trustee.
And identification of yourself?
Yes, like a license, any kind of identification, whatever they deem necessary, you would need to give them that identification.
One form of that identification?
It could be more than one form. It could be, most likely it'd be a driver's license. So it depends on the courts and depends on where you live.
Okay. So the next thing we want to discuss is notifying Social Security.
So if your loved one lives in a nursing home, this is something that you really don't have to worry about, but you can check on it to make sure that the nursing home did do this. You need to make sure that the Social Security is contacted so that they can close your loved one's account. However, if the person was not in a nursing home and they died at home, this is something that you must do right away.
Okay, so now I see here contact. So these are persons of contact that you have to make for various reasons?
Well, contact deals with insurance. So the insurance company, so that they can pay out the funds. If your loved one has a life insurance, then you need to contact the insurance company so they can pay out that insurance money. The insurance company is going to ask you for a lot of information. One of the things they're going to ask you for is, if you're the one who's inheriting the money or you're the trustee, they're going to ask you for your full name, address, telephone number. They want the original death certificate. Do not give them a copy. Give them the original. They want the obituary. If you had it put in the newspaper, you need to give that to them as well, or either the obituary from the services that you had. If you purchase only one death certificate, you need to make sure that the insurance company sends that back to you. Request it. What I did was I requested it to be sent back to me. I put in a self-addressed envelope, sent it to them, and they would send it back to you, because if you don't request it, they will destroy it after they received it.
Okay. And as I am aware of, that there are reasons and concerns to be aware when going through this process, and mainly it has to do with the coffins or caskets and things of that nature. So tell us about what things outside of the normal processes that we need to be aware of during the entire time frame of preparing for the death and after the death of a loved one.
Well, during the time and even after the death of a loved one, if you're looking to bury your loved one, buy a casket, buyer beware. Going online is very risky. Of course, caskets are marked up 100%, and everybody will be looking for something inexpensive, especially if you don't have the funds. If you go online, there's a possibility that you may be scammed. I was scammed. And I tried to buy a casket online. I did not receive the casket, and I did not receive my funds back. So therefore, you want to beware. There's this one site, casketsite.com. It's not an actual place. It's not a casket company or anything, so you don't want to be scammed. If you want to look up the information, you can do so online. Right now, they have a legal action suit against these people, casketsite.com. So you want to be careful in buying a casket, because there are people who prey on your grief, and by preying on your grief, they will scam you and steal your money.
Okay, so this was a lot of helpful information. So we thank you very much for taking time out of your day to help share this information with the rest of the world and the YouTube viewing audience. And if there are any questions, they could be left in the comments below. So we thank you very much for sharing this information.
You will.
Okay.